Hey there, welcome. So today I think I'm going to take a look at a show that is near and dear to my heart called The Last Man on Earth. Have I ever done a review of any movie or show or anything like that? No, I'm horribly unqualified to do such a thing. And yet here we are. Now a show is all about this horrible disease that has swept through the world and killed most of the population except for just a select few. I would like to point out that this show came out in 2015. So yeah, they were a little prophetic in that way. Now, the show stars Will Forte in the amazing role of Philip Tandy Miller, and yes, that middle name will come back into play later, as he tries to make his way through this new world where he is the last man on Earth. Or is he? We'll just have to find out. But I'll be doing my best to not step on any really good jokes that I think you guys might enjoy if you decide to watch it, because some of them are just too brilliant to step on. You definitely want people to experience them firsthand. Hey, Future Dan here, cutting in real quick with a very important PSA. If you do decide to watch this show, I will caution you that in Season 1, Phil is, shitty. During the development of the show, Will Forte said that they wanted to try and write the most reprehensible piece of crap they possibly could, and still, hopefully, you'd root for him. Now, I think they got this balance a little wrong in Season 1. But for me personally, I love a good redemption arc, and however much I was irritated by Tandy in Season 1, I just loved him that much more whenever it got to the end of the series. So if you decide to try the show and you decide that you just can't handle the horrible behavior of Philip Tandy Miller, just hold tight, he gets better, while never losing that high energy, wacky, boyish charm of his. So without further ado, let's begin our 4-season journey through The Last Man on Earth. So we catch up with our hero, Philip Tandy Miller, as he attempts to find any living creature left on the face of the planet by randomly going around the US and screaming the word hello into a megaphone.
Hello? Hello? Hola? Bonjour? Chinese hello?
Which, be honest, is probably about the same level of plan that I would come up with as well. But after this, he has an actually rather brilliant idea. He goes to billboards all around the US and starts to spray paint "Alive in Tucson" across them, just in case someone were to see them, they would know where to find them. Which is actually kind of a smart plan. Probably a lot smarter than anything I would have come up with. So, and Phil's an idiot, so what does that say about me? Anywho, and then Phil turns on societal God mode and decides to start doing all the crazy stuff that you or I would do if we didn't live in a functioning society.
Ah! Oh, yes! Yes!
But he quickly figures out that without people, a lot of this stuff just really isn't worth it. And that may sound very after-school special, and it kind of is. But after we all went through the social isolation that happened during COVID, I think we can kind of all sympathize with, you kind of need other people around. So in his many conversations with God, he quickly realizes that, hey, nobody else is coming, and he kind of starts to give up on it.
Okay, I get it. Nobody's coming. You're not giving me anybody. Well, guess what? I don't even care. I don't need people. Okay, I can make it work on my own. Watch me. Watch me. Hey, Phil, what's up? Oh, I'm great, Phil. How are you? Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you very much for asking. See, I'm already doing it. Ha! I need people. You'll be just fine.
Morning, Phil. How are you, Phil? Fine, Phil. How are you, Phil? Oh, I'm good.
As I am sure is much to everyone's surprise, he's not fine. And he starts to devolve into worse and worse self-destructive tendencies like drinking a lot and having a margarita pool. He gets so desperate for human interaction that he starts to draw faces on balls and give them names.
Hey, can I have a whiskey? You want a whiskey? Gary? Whiskey? You sure? How about you, Jimmy? No? Okay, well, does anyone want a whiskey? Huh? Greg? Kevin? Anton? No, really? Nobody? Trevor? Terrence? Trent? Darby? Bryce? Marshall? Peter? Thomas? Max? Dashiell? Diego? Clementine? Nobody wants a whiskey. Okay, well, more for me. Jerry, now you look like you lost a little weight. What are you, exercising, skipping carbs? Well, whatever you're doing, keep it up. Okay, cheersies.
He also does what I do whenever I'm in thrift shops and see a mannequin. I mean, if it were the apocalypse, if there weren't people, that's what I would do. Not that's what I do now. I don't make out with mannequins. I mean, they can't return your love. He quickly realizes that no matter how much he lies to himself, no matter how much he tries to impart human-like features onto all of these inanimate objects, they're not people.
You guys were the best friends that I could ask for. But you're not people. You're not people.
And this episode has a lot of really cool moments, but one I really kind of need to comment on that I just never noticed before. Now, I've watched through this show a couple of times, like 3 or 4 times. It's a great show, but I think I've seen this opening episode at least a dozen times. And I can't believe I never noticed that in the scene where he's drinking wine and eating cheese whiz,
Not as good.
I honestly thought this was just the show's way of showing off that he's just a wacky, crazy, silly guy. That he's having a $10,000 bottle of wine with some easy cheese? That's silly. That's funny. But no, it's because there's literally no cheese left in the world. At this point, it's been 2 years since he's seen another living creature. That means, yeah, cheese is probably off the table. This is one of the little touches I love about this show. That, yeah, if you were in that situation, if it had been 2 years since you've seen another living creature and there was no cheese, but wine is still available, a cheese and wine plate would look considerably different. Hi, I'm wearing different clothes now. So basically, after a long bout of hedonism, Phil decides that it is no longer worth going through this world without another person. So he decides to leave this mortal coil in the truly most wily coyote fashion you could imagine. He puts a giant cartoon bullseye on the side of a giant boulder, and then gets in his truck and drives at it full speed ahead. With the airbag being removed, of course. But then, right before the last moment, right before we have an end to the show, before it even begins, he sees a plume of smoke in the distance. Which can only mean one thing. Another person has come to Tucson. And that person is Carol Pilbazian, played by Kristen Shaw most brilliantly. Carol is, let's say, eccentric. She has a lot of fun little quirks that tend to annoy Phil more than anything else.
Well, you know, it's not something I'm super proud of.
You mean not something of which you are super proud?
Yeah. Were you an English teacher?
No.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
Nothing of which to be afraid.
But I just said that.
You can't end sentences with prepositions. Nothing of which to be afraid is the proper grammar.
Fine, yes. Okay, why don't you put that gun away? What do you need that gun out for?
Don't you mean out for what do you need that gun?
Okay, that can't be right.
It is.
No, come on. No, you don't have to cock that thing.
So from here, Carol and Phil kind of dance around the topic that is obviously on both their minds.
Would you just say what you're trying to say?
Repopulation, you dumb donkey. Something we have to do. Together.
While Carol would like to copulate for the sake of human repopulation, Phil, on the other hand, well, his motivations are, let's say, a little different.
I mean, you guys know how horny I've been. Just so horny. Just next level horny. But this woman is just a turd.
So while Carol and Phil definitely don't seem to be super jazzed about meeting each other just yet, any doubt that they're a bad match is pretty much eradicated when Carol sees where Tandy lives.
And here's my garbage pool. And this is my margarita pool.
You swim in that?
Well, I swim in it, I drink out of it. There's really no wrong way to use a margarita pool.
So you stole all these paintings?
What? No. Plus, I take very good care of this stuff. Oh, shoot.
Phil, what are these?
They are magazines.
What kind of magazines?
Well, they are masturbatory magazines.
Okay. Okay.
And Phil decides it's not a great match for him either whenever he starts to experience some of Carol's more pedantic idiosyncrasies.
you doing?
What now?
This is a handicapped parking spot.
We're the last two people on Earth. If by some tiny chance a handicapped person happens to be driving through Tucson, they can park right over there, which is even closer to the store.
That's not a parking spot.
That is a spot,
No,
Carol!
it's not a spot.
And that is a parking spot.
No.
And that is a parking spot.
So while Phil personifies chaos and destruction, Carol likes things to be more organized and rule-based. So Phil and Carol have a few more lovers' tiffs, until Phil eventually relents and says, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to do whatever I need to do. And Carol, being very old-fashioned like that, she wants to get married before she's willing to sleep with him, which to Phil and many other people would seem really insane.
I'm not gonna have sex with you unless we're married.
You are being serious?
Yes.
Why do you have to be married? It doesn't mean anything anymore.
It means something to me, Phil.
Well, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Then why do you care?
Fine. We're married.
Aw, romance. So at one point we do start to see that maybe there is some good in Phil. Whenever he sees Carol really struggling to try and get the water running, he decides to step in and put old Tandy ingenuity into it and manages to get some water to the neighborhood.
Where your